is she not going? So myself and my husband were looking at ourselves with the corners of our eyes, like, okay, what's happening? Is she not leaving? Of course, I was really excited about the fact that she was still there, but we're just wondering, like, okay, what's really happening? I don't know. And lo and behold, people of God, this sister stayed with me 1 month, stayed with me 2 months, and of course she didn't just stay with me. She solved, from that moment on, that discussion of I needed help, I'm overwhelmed, that I usually have with my husband, then stopped, because it was a great relief having her around. She was really helpful, she was just there for me. She really, really, really was there for me, and she really, really helped. Hello everyone, my name is Oluwapelumi Boluwaji. I vlog about lessons from my life as relating to singlehood, wifehood, and motherhood. Welcome to my new subscribers, and thank you to my returning subscribers. I appreciate it so much. So today I want to share with you a very interesting story. Story. So it's the story of how the Lord provided me help. The story of how the Lord provided me help. So I trust God that you'll be blessed by this story. So it started in the year 2020. Year 2020, there was coronavirus, and when everybody was enjoying their time out with their husbands at home and their wives at home, my case was different. My husband being a medical practitioner, it wasn't like that for me. My husband was busy throughout the COVID period. He would go to work every day, and then which meant that I was alone with my children. So it was really a tough time for me, considering the fact that at that time I had two under threes, and then without any help, it was quite challenging, and then a busy husband as well. And then the fact that there was no school, the kids had to be home all day, like from morning till evening. So we're together. So it was really, so I had to engage them from like 24/7 without any help whatsoever, and then with little, with little availability from my husband. So it was really very challenging for me. So at that time, I remember that we had quite a number of discussions, myself and my husband, talking about, okay, what should we do? Do we need to get help? While we were in the courtship, the question of whether we would get house help, we talked about it, and I think at that time we both were like, okay, no, we are not going to employ house helps in our house. So that was like our conclusion then. But of course, at this stage, reality sets in, and we brought it up again. And we didn't really conclude. It was just a back and forth discussion. We had not yet concluded. When I remember, there was a day that I was so overwhelmed. I was in the kitchen, I was washing plates, and I was talking to God, and I was telling God that, God, I shouldn't be going through this. I knew that it was like I was holding God's leg, like, God, this shouldn't be me in need of help. When I was single, I was of help to a lot of married women, and truthfully, as a single lady, I was this go-to girl for married women in my church. Then I remember I was this person that when married people needed help, married sisters, they would call me, some of them to stay with kids, and so on and so forth, like that. So, and it wasn't an issue for me. A lot of times I just saw it as a learning process. And in fact, I remember there was a time where I had to stay with a sister of mine that had a baby, and then I had to stay with her for a period of time. It was actually like the Lord instructed me to stay with her for some time, after her delivery. So these were the things I was telling the Lord. I was like, God, this shouldn't be me. I served. I served people, God, and so it shouldn't be me that will be in this situation of not having people to serve me, so to say. That was what I was just, as I was just watching play, that I was just talking about it with God. I was like, God, I need help. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I really need help. And so there's a sister actually in my church, a beloved sister of mine, that once in a while she comes around to help me. Before COVID, she comes around regularly. Sometimes I invite her to my house, and we talk, and then she helps me. But then during of my discussion with my husband, I brought her up that okay, and I don't mind her staying with me, but I don't want to disturb her. I don't know how I'm going to tell her that okay, can you please come and stay with me? Like if it's okay with you, can you please be staying with me? I didn't know how to tell her because I felt like okay, I don't want to disturb her. So I wasn't going to tell her, but I told my husband about it before that I really don't mind her staying with me. And like yeah, like I don't mind that staying in our house. I hope you get what I mean. So now fast forward to some weeks after my prayers, that my kitchen washing plates prayers. There was a day that my husband was going to be on call, that is was going to be sleeping in the hospital over the night, and I needed someone to sleep over in the house. Like I didn't want to sleep alone. Sometimes it just happens like that, and I'm like okay, I need someone to stay over in the house. So I called this particular sister that I said she's a very good sister of mine in church, a beloved sister from church, and I invite her over a lot of times just to gist, and then she also helps me. So I invited her over that night, and I told her, okay, my husband is going to be on call. Can you please come over and stay with me for the night? So that was like the arrangement. So she said it was a very short notice actually. I think my husband was going to be on call the following day, and I told her just a night before, and she was like, "Oh, that's fine. I will be around." And so she came, and so that was now during COVID period. So she came over, and then she spent the night with me, and then a night turned to 2 nights, to 3 nights, to 4 nights, to 5 nights, to 6 nights, and then I was wondering like, what's happening? Is she not going? So myself and my husband were looking at ourselves with the corners of our eyes, like, okay, what's happening? Is she not leaving? Of course, I was really excited about the fact that she was still there. But we're just wondering, like, okay, what's really happening? I don't know. And lo and behold, people of God, this sister stayed with me 1 month, stayed with me 2 months, and of course she didn't just stay with me. She solved, from that moment on, that discussion of I needed help, I'm overwhelmed, that I usually have with my husband, then stopped, because it was a great relief having her around. She was really helpful. She was just there for me. She really 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 was there for me, and she really really helped me. And so I didn't feel that business of my husband at that particular period of time. And so I was just wondering, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I tell you, she didn't leave. And this is the same sister that I said I desired that she stays with me. Up till now, I never told her. Okay, before I say that, so 4 months, 5 months, I think it was after spending like up to 6 months that we had a discussion, because she was actually staying with her sister. So her sister was going to get married, and so she asked me if she should renew the rents. So it's because her sister was getting married and moving out of the house where they live together to the house where her husband is living, where they will both be living. So she wanted to hear from me whether if it's okay to renew the rent, or if I would like her to continue to stay with us. So I told her okay. Of course, like my response is continue to stay with us. But I told her okay, I'm going to discuss with my husband and then get back to you. So myself and my husband talked about now, like, she has been with us for, I think at that time I was already going to, I can't remember precisely, maybe 6 to 8 months, and she has been of help, just what we needed. So said yeah, it's fine for her to stay with us. And so that was now when her stay with us became official. So up till now, there was no point when I told her that can you please come and stay with me, and up till now I don't even know the reason why she decided to stay with me. Maybe God appeared to her in the middle of the night and told her that my daughter, please stay with my daughter and be of help to her. I don't know, because she stayed with me, and not only did she stay with me, like she took it personal. Like she helped me. She served me. And I'm just, when I remember, and by the way, she stayed with me for almost 2 years before we actually, she left because we moved the location. And so of course, and then she also had to move on, and so she left. And so in fact she didn't leave until we were moving, we were changing location. Yeah, so I really really, it was it's a very great testimony for me of how, and throughout those 2 years there was never that conversation again. The conversation never, everybody was just relieved. That conversation of, okay, see, I'm overwhelmed, you are busy, I don't know, I can't, that conversation never, it did not come up again. The problem was just solved. And then, even COVID ended and we entered into some busier phases again, and she was just there. She was just there. And I'm just grateful to God, for caring. God cares so much, and that's just the lesson, that God cares so much. So if you are a mother, whatever, a mother, a wife, even a single person, and you need help, the Lord can send help. It can be in form of the way God sent to me. Actually, there's also been a time in my life when the Lord instructed me to stay with someone as a form of help, and it was also like an answer to the prayers of this my beloved sister. So you see, the Lord can send help. The Lord can send help. So it's also an encouragement to someone. If you need help, even in this context, if you need help, you're overwhelmed and you need help, you can trust the Lord for help. You can trust Him for commanded help. He can send help. So this is my story. And wherever, I don't want to mention her name, but you know yourself, if you are listening to this video, shout out to you. Thank you so much for being there for me at that moment in my life. And this testimony also makes me as confident of every stage of my life, that I'm covered. It just requires me telling God about it and just talking to God about it, and He cares so much and He sees so much. Thank you, and God bless you. And by the way, I always forget to say this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. God bless you.